few minutes. What
Sounds good.
are you doing?
Huh?
What kind of homework are you doing?
Plant physiology.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
So fun.
We're
Can't wait.
live. See us on the screen.
There we go. People are coming in.
Woo!
Hi, guys.
Yay! Super live stream today. But yeah, so if you guys are new to my channel. There's not a lot of people here yet, but they will come. Um, this is Willa. Yay!
Hi.
And we have Tourette's and Willa homework today.
I am doing homework. I have something crazy to share.
What?
Okay. You know how I have a video that has like 100 million views?
Yeah.
I have the 57th most watched TikTok of all time.
That's wild. Congratulations.
Thank you. As of 8 months ago, it was the 57th most watched TikTok of all time.
Oh,
Dude. I like it feels so weird to say that. Like that is so weird.
that's wild.
I know.
My friends, no one's here. They'll
I
come.
know.
Um,
They
probably
better.
been waiting for like a while, so they probably got the notification a while ago.
Oh no.
Charles,
Hi.
hi Charles. That's amazing. Good for you. It's actually like such a flex.
Thank you. I'm really happy about it.
That's exciting.
It's it's so weird. Like that is the concept of that is crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, also, am I gonna get you demonetized?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Hey, baby, how are you guys? I got my
Hi everybody. Dude, I want a Dr. Pepper.
so good. I got right.
I got brace.
Nope. No, I'm already, little guy. I know what you're gonna type.
YouTube is so evil. What?
I got rice. How is everyone? We have 12 peeps. How are you guys?
12 keeps.
I sub, please sub. I would love if you subbed. This is my subscribe button. It's backwards, but please.
That's so cute.
How are you? Just San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Let's one.
I just realized if I hold my thing like that, you can literally see everything I'm doing. So I am in fact gonna hold it like this while
Oh,
I because that would be crazy. Imagine if I docked myself by like accidentally showing part of my iPad screen.
I just did 2 economics lectures, and I'm like brain dead.
Mhm. Real.
Economics is not my thing at all.
Real. I just clicked on the wrong class. Brain.
Oh.
Brain not working.
I got rice.
What shirt are you wearing?
It's my Oilers shirt.
Oh, cute. Hockey, I love it.
Yeah, so Canadian.
So Canadian.
How are you today?
I'm doing. I'll tell you how I'm doing later, Carly. We will discuss how I'm doing at length.
Perfect. I'm doing good today. Besides, like, yeah, I'm doing good.
Doing
And
okay.
subbed to you. That is great.
Hi, Anastasia. Thank you. I just created this specific account just now. And I've decided I want to start vlogging, so that would be really cool.
Gosh, that'll be amazing.
I think it will be. But yeah, no, I literally just created this one because I had another one, but I didn't want to use it anymore, so.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I wanna start fresh, start new, maybe start posting some of my old videos to the reels. Or not the reels, shorts, the shorts.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I like then TikTok. I don't know
Wow.
that.
Huh?
I said, I don't know why I whispered TikTok. Um,
TikTok. Bleh.
Hi, Andy. Reborn. Reborn's my boyfriend.
Mm.
He's here. Colton is here.
Hi, Colton.
Aries.
I'm good, Anastasia. How are you? Shut up.
Andy says, what is the topic? Currently, there is really no topic. We're two people with Tourette's and we're vibing. If you guys
So
have
true.
questions about Tourette's or tic disorders or just like anything that's like appropriate, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
How are you? I'm good. My doctor
I'm trying so hard to save this file. Hello?
you. And that's awesome.
What?
Oh, I'm replying to Anastasia. Je t'aime.
Sick. You cut out, like, eh, you cut out, like, every single time that I start speaking.
Sorry.
It's not your fault. I don't know what your, like, microphone does.
Oh. What are we doing and how can I troll? No, thank you. And that went either.
Dude, YouTube is way worse. What?
Ed, when I tell you it's bad,
This is crazy.
you- yes, we do. I'll speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for you, but we both have ticks.
No, I don't have ticks.
Hi, Hi,
Oh,
Amanda. Morgan,
look
hello.
at the look at the plant cell.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. I get to color it in for a grade. This
Oh,
is the easiest homework I've ever had.
that's fun.
Yeah.
Hi, Toast. Je t'aime. Puppy Paws. Hi, Puppy Paws. How?
Hi. Wait, part two?
Hi, Shan. Hi, Aubrey.
Part two?
What is part two?
I have part two. Part two of my homework after this.
No!
I know.
That sucks. Hi, Jink.
This is
I got
so sad.
uh, sorry.
Sorry.
Marco, hello. Hi, Morgan. Ticking and Tourette's are different. Yes. So to have Tourette's, you have to have tics. Why puppy noises?
Listen, I don't control what my ticks are. They happen as they happen, and I am but a pawn in my ticks cruel game. So
Yeah, a lot. Not. um. Yeah, as I was saying, to have Tourette's, you have to have tics, but you don't have to have. I always get this wrong because it's so hard to say. But if you have tics, you don't necessarily have Tourette's. But to have Tourette's, you have to tick.
yes. Do you want me to like expand on the specific tick or Tourette criteria?
Go for it.
So Tourette syndrome is a tic disorder, but there are multiple tic disorders. So basically, Tourette syndrome has specific criteria that you have to meet in order to be diagnosed with Tourette syndrome specifically, and that is at least two motor tics and at least one vocal tic, lasting for at least a year consecutively without any breaks. Although like waxing and waning is normal. And then there's debate between countries and communities and stuff like that about whether or not it needs to start before the age of 18. But that is currently in most of the diagnostic criteria. Um, and then there's other types of tic disorders, which includes persistent motor tic disorder, persistent vocal tic disorder, and is it provisional tic disorder or transient tic disorder?
Think it's provisional? I used to
Yeah,
know, I forgot.
yeah, they change stuff sometimes because it used to be called chronic motor and chronic vocal, but now it's called persistent.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Um, and, I got you had a friend in high school who had tics and the teacher was a butt and kicked her out of class. That's horrible.
That does suck.
Music to ASL, welcome back. I got rice. Hello, hey. Is there therapy? I'm not gonna talk about the drugs that you're mentioning because I don't wanna get demonetized.
For
Um,
sure.
I got rice, but there is different
I
there.
got rice.
Um, there's CBIT therapy, and then there's, like, different medications that you can try, but there's really no, like, dedicated treatment. It's kind of trial and error, I believe.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, there's did you talk about DBS?
No, I didn't talk about you can talk about it.
Okay, there's also DBS, deep brain stimulation surgery. It's typically like a last resort type deal, but it's essentially where they put a pacemaker for your heart, but it's for your brain, and they put it into your brain and then run a battery through under your collarbones, and it sends periodic like electrical signals through your brain to disrupt the misfired signals that cause tics. So typically it kind of reduces tics rather than cures them because there is no cure for tic disorders, but it can improve symptoms.
Uh, does Willa have a YouTube? I'd love to follow her.
Yeah, I just created it for this. I want to start vlogging and posting shorts and stuff on here. I have a TikTok that's at Willery Wisp. I have an Instagram that's at Willery Wisp, and then and then I have a YouTube that I just started. That's at Willery Wisp official.
Yay, go subscribe.
Yeah.
Much love to you, A. Marie, as well. Um, you edit your videos to remove the ticks. I don't. Um, I feel like the purpose of my channel, low key. At the beginning of my content creation journey, like a few years ago, I literally did. I like edited out all of my ticks, which was
Mm.
good because I'm like, why am I doing this if I'm having a Tourette's awareness channel? But now I'm just like, I'll just leave them in unless like I um have like if I'm like a one, I'll edit it out. But um, logical issue, yes. Hello, Liz.
Yeah.
Welcome. Keep pushing and keep grinding. Keep a positive mindset and never lose focus on your goals. Let no one stop you. Not even haters. Just know I've been there and got your back. Thanks. That's positive.
That is positive. That's cute. I forgot how to do this. I literally did this a couple weeks ago and I forgot what the instructions are. Because there's like a specific way to do it.
Yeah. Hi, Zoe. Question: have you ever met a YouTuber named Balin? I have never met Balin.
I've spoken to Balin. I've never met her, but we are mutuals and we've spoken a couple of times. So she's really sweet.
That's awesome. I think she follows me on Instagram, but not TikTok.
Nice.
Mhm.
Somebody asked, what advice would I give my past self? Hmm.
That's a good question.
I would say
Just
because so I had a pretty complicated diagnosis story. I didn't get diagnosed until college because I hid my coprolalia tics, and then everyone brushed off the mild, simple tics as bad habits or anxious habits. Um, and I hid all my coprolalia tics, which are the inappropriate tics, and so um, my advice for my past self would be to just not be afraid to ask for help and like understand that there is something wrong that isn't my fault. And to just be open about it because my life would have been so much easier if I had just been open about it, but also it would have been easier um if I had like known what Tourette's was. So maybe I would also tell her what Tourette's is. um and then beyond that I would just say like I'm still learning how to like love myself and how fuck how to shut up how to not like feel guilty for taking up space and how to tick freely and stuff like that. I'm still learning that because I spent so long not doing it. Um, so I would just give her advice to say like I would give her advice to say
I got rice.
it's okay to feel the emotions that you feel, but also it's okay to take up that space and to not feel bad for something that you can't control. So
That's awesome. Relate to that too. Feeling like you weren't like worthy of taking up space, or you know what I mean? It was hard growing up with tics, especially like when I felt the need to suppress all the time. And I think you can relate to that too, is just that level of like subconscious suppression where I'm at now. Like I'm trying to kind of
hmm
um be more confident with my tics because like I can't control. Um but it's hard to the trolls have there's so many trolls right now. Um
Yeah, that's crazy.
hang on, let me see. Hi Joelle. Doing or this is a good question. What is one thing you guys wish people knew about Tourette's?
Ooh. Um The ticks wax and wane. Please understand that ticks wax and wane. Dude, my ticks were so like and they have a progression typically. They usually start mild and then get worse before for some people they drop off and improve, but then for some people it continues and persists. And so so it's so vital that you guys know that ticks wax and wane and that our ticks are not going to be at the same level all the time and be the same ticks all the time.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many people be like, "Oh, well, you weren't taking in this video, so you don't have Tourette's. Oh, well, you were taking a lot more in this video, so you don't have Tourette's. Oh, you were, didn't take in high school." And I'm like, first of all, I did. You just either didn't notice or I was hiding the ones that I thought were inappropriate because I didn't understand what they were. But then also, also, my tics have gotten progressively more severe as I've gotten older, and that's normal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Um, I was gonna say to like same thing as Willa said. Like, there's such like a weird, like double-edged sword, weird standard for people with Tourette's. Like, as a content creator, when you're posting, you're gonna get judged if you're ticking too much, but then in the next video, if you're ticking too little, the same person's gonna judge you, and it's like we can't win. So Willa's point of waxing and waning ticks is like so crucial to know. Because sometimes my ticks will just be like chill and subtle, but then people will be like immediately like, "Oh, we caught you." Like, and I'm like, "No, this is how Tourette's works." So,
Yep.
um, what about singing? What happens when you sing? For me specifically, when I sing, my ticks basically stop. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Mine do improve. Sometimes I'll tick in between like lines of singing. So I'll like sing a line and then my brain will like not be doing that action and then I'll tick and then like go back to singing. But sometimes if I'm singing and like really into the music, I don't tick at all. But I have a pretty severe case of Tourette. So I'm pretty much never not ticking ever. Like for me, when my ticks wax and wane, it's more like my ticks get simpler and more subtle. But I remember the last time I've gone a full hour without ticking at least once.
Yeah,
Um, but that's not the case for everybody. So like for me, I tick more on average, and so I'm probably more likely to kind of still tick while I'm doing activities that I'm like focused on. But that being said, focus really does improve my ticks, and there are some times when I'm like singing in the car and stuff like that where I won't really be ticking at all. So
Jinx asks if the green shirt girl, so if Willa has a YouTube channel, and if so, what is the name? Because they want to subscribe.
I just created it. It's at Willery Wisp official. WillOrie official. I want to start posting my shorts there from the videos that I already do on TikTok. I'm also on TikTok at Willery Wisp, and I want to start doing like vlogs and long form content. Shut up. So yeah, I'd love to do that.
Go subscribe.
Go subscribe.
Um, hello. Do you have Tourette syndrome? I'm behind on chat, but I'm just reading the old ones. Yes, I do. Hello, Brozone. Um, This is weird. Thank you. Um,
This is weird.
moment. I feel yes, like ticks. I don't know if like ruined a moment. I don't have a specific example, but like ticks get in the way of things and they get like embarrassing.
Yeah, I think low key. So it's important. It's important to know that ticks rarely say what we're thinking. It's typically anything we've picked up, anything like random that's existed in our brains or in our periphery at any point. But that being said, I do occasionally tick things that I know I need to not tick.
Oh yeah.
Which isn't the same as what I'm thinking, but it's what I know I need to not tick. So, for instance, I've kind of like flirted pretty hard as a tick with people that I've had crushes on, and it's not like something that I wanted to say to them. It's like it's coprolalia adjacent. Um
Ticks take the thing you should not say, and they're like, you got to say this right.
exactly. And so there's been like twice where I have made it quite clear on accident that I probably had some kind of romantic feelings for a person or two, and I was like, "Ugh." And like usually you can tell that I don't mean it when I say things like that to people as a tick, but like I think they could tell because I got really blushy afterwards. Um
That's
so yeah, that's definitely a time where something like that's ruined the moment. Yeah.
hi, can I get a shout out? Hello, Audrey. Hello, Sman. Would y'all consider flipping people off to be coprolalia? It's actually copropraxia, but it's in the copro umbrella.
Yep. Yeah, any type of obscene gesture is called copropraxia, rather than coprolalia because lalia means like speaking or talking. Um,
Yeah, is the movement versions.
yeah.
Mm. Does it press ticks? I'm sorry if that's rude. That is not rude. You can ask that for sure. For me, there's a like a level of discomfort than pain, I would say. um, Imagine like holding back on like sneezing or like blinking. If I always do the staring contest analogy, like if someone says, "Let's have a staring contest right now," I got rice, and then you keep your eyes open, they begin to like water. You begin to get low key panicky because you're not blinking, and then all of your focus, just them, goes to not blinking. And then blink, you usually end up blinking a lot more, and you've brought awareness to it, which causes like a whole influx of blinks. It's similar to suppression in that way, where like when I'm not ticking, all of my focus is on not ticking, and then I get panicky, and then it's a whole thing. But there's
Mm.
a level of je t'aime discomfort, because it's like holding back on something that like I physically need to do.
Yeah, I think the best way as I've been able to explain suppression is like it's a lot like that. It's also a lot like holding in a sneeze because a sneeze is also an involuntary action carried out by the body. But you can like suppress it for a short time or you can muffle it or make it different, like alter it in some way. Um, but it has to come out eventually and that urge just builds and builds and builds more and in some cases like your sneeze will come out more violently than if you had just sneezed in the first place. But also another thing is recently a lot of people have started asking me like, oh, does it feel like restless leg syndrome? And it kind of does. That urge to tick, and so it's obviously, like, the movements caused by restless leg syndrome are voluntary, but they feel urgent, and the best way I can explain it is, like, it's that urgency, like, the more you don't move your legs when you have restless leg syndrome, the more uncomfortable that feeling gets, and it builds, and it builds, and it builds, and it's like that, except our movements are involuntary.
Yes. Um, Simba, hello, Ella. Toast asks, "What is your favorite movie?" My favorite movie, I have a tie for my favorite movies, and they're both very bizarre. Napoleon Dynamite and The Phantom of the Opera movie adaptation.
I love that. Mine is low-key Zoolander. I really I really have a soft spot for Zoolander.
Got rice. Um, are you able to drive or operate heavy equipment? Um, for everyone with Tourette's, it's going to be different. Obviously, there's no two people with Tourette's that will present the exact same. Everyone's level of tics is different. For example, like Willa and I have different tics as you're seeing. But for me, I am able to drive. I've never operated heavy machinery, but I am able to drive. Um, it just kind of like takes a level of like before I drive, I'm always like, okay, can I drive? Like I do this like mental check in my head. Like if I'm too ticky, I will obviously not be driving because that's not okay, and I don't want to like put myself others in danger. That'd be really bad. Um, and when I'm driving, I'm low key like thing. But yeah.
I just want to address really quickly. There's a comment that says the movements of RLS are not voluntary. Majority of the time, it absolutely is involuntary. I literally have it. The twitches are voluntary. I'm sure you meant at the last part the twitches are involuntary. I don't know that much about RLS other than what I've experienced. I've had it in the past. I'm not sure if it was due to medications or something else. the I'm sure like a lot of those movements are involuntary. But for me, when I get restless leg syndrome, the primary issue is the feeling that comes along with it. Um, but that very well may be the case, and in that case, I'm sorry if I got it wrong. I'm just illustrating the fact that tics are a misfired signal in the brain, and so they're not like in reaction to they're not in reaction to an outside stimuli or like something like that, that they're a misfired signal that just happens to come with, like, this urge that builds up before because your brain is processing the fact that it's about to tick. So,
Um, hi, Christopher. Have ticks affected any of your jobs?
um, yes, I actually had I worked at a bar, and things were going really well, and then, I got I got a little bit uncomfortable just being out front every day because I had to work really, really hard not to kind of like hit my coworkers, like not super hard, but not soft either. And we kind of had to have a conversation about like how, I don't want the customers to have to be like, why is this girl hitting her coworkers? So I did end up moving to the back, and then I worked for a very short period of time as a host at a restaurant. Hey, shut up. And and I just felt very uncomfortable because I was having to suppress like all the time because I would get a lot of old people coming in and like giving me really weird looks or like fussing about it. And so I ended up just trying to like really, really hold in a lot of my coprolalia tics. But for multiple hour shifts at a time when my job is to stand up at the front and I don't get to really go to the back except on like one break. It's not feasible to suppress for that long, that completely. So, yeah.
Um, answering the question for me, fired from a job because of my Tourette's. Um, it was real bad. And I never really got any closure. Like I had a tick attack at work. I was working at a fast food chain and they were like, if you can guarantee this will never happen again, like, we can keep you, but if this is gonna continue happening, like, you're not coming back." And I was like, "Is this legal?" Like, low key, no.
Not legal, no.
They just, like, never scheduled again, so, like, I assumed that I was fi like, they fired me, and, then I got another job at a bookstore, and that lasted about 9 years, and it was really good because, like, even though it was retail, I was kind of like a customer servicey person, so I was able to, like, walk around this store and, like, let out my ticks in the aisles or whatever, and, like, it was really good, and I really missed that job, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, the level of suppression at any job is kind of freaky, and then there's the whole other topic, like, getting a new job because I'm looking for work right now, like, do I mention my Tourette's in the interview? Like, it's a whole thing that I'm, like, worried about, so it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you ever No, sorry, I was about to trigger your tics by asking a question about them. Um,
you could ask it.
do you ever, like, roll your eyes too hard as a tick, and then they hurt, and you just, like, literally cannot focus your vision again?
Yeah, all the time.
Terrible. Bleh.
Uh, hello, Nick. Sorry I'm so behind on chat. I'm just trying to say hi to everyone. Hi, Lara. Um, hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Ann Lee. How is Quoxy doing? He's so good. Thanks for asking. Um, doo-doo-doo. Rice. Do your ticks get worse watching someone else tick? Definitely. Um,
Yep.
for me, I mean, I think for most people with Tourette's, a trigger is seeing someone else tick. Um, Ellie Mae asks, "Do your tics intensify when you are rice when you are stressed or nervous?"
Yes, that's actually a very common thing. For most people with Tourette syndrome, our tics do get worse in high emotion situations. Hey, shut up. So, any type of high emotion situation tends to trigger our tics, whether that be frustration, anger, excitement, or anxiety and stress. So, yeah, it's very common for most people with Tourette's to have their tics influenced by their emotions in some way.
Mm,
Um, so, yeah,
my tics, or I would say out of all of the emotions, um, my tics get so bad when I'm stressed. Um,
yep.
does it seem like people are more or less understanding about people having this condition these days? I it's kind of like a mix. Due to social media, I would say people now understand like what it is on a general level more. Like, I'll tell people that I have, and they will have a basic understanding and they won't automatically assume, "Oh, I swear" all the time like they used to. That used to be like the main thing that people knew. Um, I feel like they're more understanding a little bit, but also there was that whole level of like people faking it for a while, especially during like not I don't know during COVID, but it was during like the whole TikTok rise of
Mhm.
so a lot of people were faking it, which also now leads to people being less understanding because people don't always believe us anymore, which is like so awful, but that's just it's kind of like there's two approaches to it. Like they're more understanding if they have a general knowledge of Tourette's, but then people can be less understanding, especially if they don't want to believe us.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like now, like, I probably didn't get diagnosed because it wasn't widely understood, especially in the demographic that I went to school with and lived with and stuff like that. Um, so now, like, anytime like, if I rarely get in sticky situations with my coprolalia anymore, which is really good because I do have coprolalia, and copropraxia. And in the event that, like, if I flip off somebody at a bar, like, obviously their first instinct is to be confused, but then the second that I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have Tourette's," they're immediately like, "Oh, okay, cool," um, and they understand what it is now, which is awesome. Um, but it does make it harder because people online have called me fake. People in my real life have called me fake. Um, and so I feel like yeah, there's this new shut up. There's this newfound need to compulsively not believe people with Tourette's if they're women, specifically young women. Um, and so it's very interesting to me, the dichotomy where we have way more understanding and yet more misinformation than ever.
That's a good
And
one.
it's yeah.
Um, Mackenzie asked, "What's one thing you wish people would stop asking about Tourette's?" I wish people would stop asking how it presents in the bedroom.
Yup.
It's on all my videos. I'm like, "Please stop." Like, are you gonna go and ask a stranger about their intimacy life? Like, no.
I wish people would stop asking me to tick specific things
Oh,
because one, what if I don't want that new tick? Two, I why do you want me to tick something like that? Are you using my disability as a commodity and entertainment? And three, if you say, "Hey, you should tick this," that gets stuck in my brain and translates to potentially getting it as a tick. Um and so people who are like, "Oh, I wish you would have this specific tick," or like, "Tick this, tick this, tick this." I'm like, "Dude, like you're literally just making my life harder. You are giving me more ticks." Eesh. So that's really annoying.
mhm. It is very annoying. Well, this person, I'm 7 and got Tourette's when I was 11. I have done some tics tens of thousands of times. That's I um Emily asks, "What's Willa's favorite and least favorite part about having Tourette's?"
Ooh, my favorite part is super easy. It's the friends, and it's also camp. So I have two, and they both intertwine with each other. The amount of friends that I have made with Tourette syndrome, is amazing because they understand you at a level that nobody else will, and there's something to be said for people who have a common struggle being closer than people who don't. I'm closer so quickly with some of my Tourette friends than I probably ever will be with people who don't have it because we go through such a similar invisible struggle. There's no way that people who don't have it can kind of fully understand what I'm going through. And that doesn't mean that I don't want friends who don't have Tourette's. I absolutely have friends who don't have Tourette's, and I love them and value them very much. Um, but I would say I have some friends with Tourette's that I'm closer with than probably anybody else. And camp also is one of my favorite parts. I work at a summer camp for children with Tourette and tic disorders, and that is my favorite place in the world. It is the best place. It's called Camp Twitch and Shout. If you have children or are a child with Tourette's or a tic disorder, please consider sending them. It's in the Southeast United States and it's taking place at the end of June this year. And it's really freaking awesome. And you should consider sending your children. And if you wanted to volunteer, if you have Tourette's or if you don't have Tourette's and you're just interested in working with people with Tourette syndrome, Tourette syndrome, and other connected comorbidities, then feel free to check it out. And then in terms of like least favorite parts, um, most of it, most of it. I really, honestly, the social stigma about it. Like, I hate so many of my problematic tics. I hate having to feel uncomfortable in public more. Um, I think that's my least favorite part about it is just feeling so uncomfortable in my skin at all times.
Yeah.
So,
Uh, Says, "I feel like tics and roses made it more likely for people to get fake claims, but also helped a few people understand when people are faking or not." Interesting. Elizabeth, hello. Rain, I just saw a short of yours. Cool. Um, Hello, Jack. Your ex went around telling everyone you're faking after you left. Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
that's terrible.
Um, Puppy Paws said, "Willa, I just want to say your eyeliner is super pretty. I just noticed."
Thank you.
Um, doo-doo-doo. Um, Thank you guys for taking the time to answer questions. You guys are so kind. Hope all is well for the both of you. It's a shame people fake these things. Yeah.
It is
Um,
a shame.
are you born with ticks or do you get them when you're older? I got rice. Um, for me, like I believe okay, don't quote me on this, but I believe there is a genetic component sometimes for Tourette's. Because like Tourette's is in my family. Like I have cousins and other family members with Tourette's. I wasn't necessarily born with it, but I was born with the predisposition to it, I believe. um, I started having tics when I was really young, but like I would
Yeah, Tourette's is currently considered to be genetic. I was reading a study that was I think in from 2023 or 2024, a peer-reviewed study that talked about how we have identified certain um pathways in the brain and stuff like that. That are involved with Tourette syndrome, and it is yeah, it's genuinely generally been considered genetic by most emerging research and stuff like that. And then there is some aspect of environmental nature to it because it can be influenced by environmental factors like stress, emotions, and upbringing. Um, and then yeah, so typically Tourette syndrome is genetic, but it also has environmental factors. So you have like a predisposition for it, and it does run in families, but not every person who has like the underlying genes for it develop it.
Stanley. OMG, is she drawing a cell?
Yeah, I'm drawing a plant cell.
Like,
I'm drawing
right.
a plant cell for homework. It's due tomorrow morning. So, yeesh.
Rick says, I feel like being neurodivergent helps you understand others who are neurodivergent. I would. Marlo says, hi, I'm from France. I was wondering, je t'aime. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Um, how it was in America that people have so many people with Tourette's when it's not something we have all over the world. Like in my country, I never heard of it or saw it. I just think that's kind of like I feel like maybe it's just because like you're seeing content creators from North America with Tourette's, but there's a lot of people. Are you there, Willa, or did you freeze? I think she froze. Oh no. Are we still live? I don't know. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. um, I got rice. Oh, her phone died. Oh no. Okay, I got rice. Um, okay, Willa's frozen. She will come back eventually. Um, I'll keep answering questions. So, um, she'll be back. I'm sorry, guys. Her phone died. But yeah, she is drawing a cell. Hello, fisherman. Silly self, you're welcome. For both of y'all, what helps with Tourette's and tics? So for me, when I'm like doing something creative, it really helps. When I'm really focused on something that I love doing, it really helps. Or like when I'm relaxing, when I'm really focused, when I'm doing something I'm passionate about. So like singing, playing with like Lego, playing instruments. Je t'aime. What else? Honestly, even editing content really helps. All sorts of stuff that I'm just really into. When I'm focused, I take less. Um, Sorry that Will is frozen, you guys. Lexi, hello. Be right back. No worries, music. I have a question. Does any medication help control tics? That's a good question, and I will answer it. But before I answer it, I want you guys to. This is backwards, but if you're new, please subscribe. I'm adding Willa back. Please subscribe to the channel.
Hi.
Back.
So sorry.
Grace, if just hanging out in chat, of- just give it a thumbs up. It helps. um. So the question to answer right now: does any medication help control tics? We're
Hello. What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just keep cutting out, which is probably on my end, but
Okay. Can you hear me now? I got rice.
Yes.
The question is, does any medication help control ticks?
Yes. So there are lots of different medications that you can use to treat ticks. There are three that are specifically there's three that are specifically FDA approved for treating ticks and Tourette's. Those three are Pimozide, haloperidol, maybe risperidone. Don't quote me on the third one.
I don't remember the third one.
Do not quote me on the third one. But there are three that are specifically treated for treatment. However, those do come with some pretty gnarly side effects. So those are typically not the kind of like first line treatment. Um, there are other medications that can be used off label for ticks specifically, like Abilify, guanfacine, clonidine, Topamax. Um, and then there are some other medications like beta blockers that are also occasionally used to help relieve some tick symptoms, like propranolol. Um, so there's plenty of medication options, and it really, really takes a lot of like trial and error to determine which medications and which combinations of medications really help. I'm actually about to go off of my Tourette medication. Scary. I I know. I ended up calling my neurologist today and talking back and forth with them, and and I'm going to be weaning off of my Pimozide to hopefully try something new starting in March. So yeah, um, I'm very excited to try something new because I've been having some really significant side effects, and I'm starting to develop possible early symptoms of tardive dyskinesia that I didn't recognize until like last night. So I went ahead and called my doctor. Um, so I'm gonna be weaning off of that and trying something new. Blah.
I'm also on Pimicide, but I've been on it for probably like 4 or 5 years now. Maybe don't quote me. I memory. But it really helps me honestly, and I'm really grateful for that medication. But again, it's kind of trial and error for everyone. One thing that treats me might not treat the other person with Tourette's.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it really just depends on the person, like so heavily.
Yeah.
So because I know people who Pemazide didn't help them at all. For me, it reduced the complexity of my ticks, but not really the frequency. So it was really helpful in that it made my ticks a lot less intrusive on my everyday life, but it didn't make them less frequent. So so I am looking at alternative options right now.
um, Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up. They asked me
They asked you what?
how we met.
Oh, okay. So I had been watching Carly's YouTube videos. I don't remember when I started watching those, but I do remember watching them before I started creating content, and reacting with pretty much any of the like TikTok Tourette content creators. And then I remember, I think, did I follow you first or did you follow me first? I feel like I followed you first.
Followed me first, which was shocking because like I don't have that many content creator with Tourette's, but you did follow me first because you reached out to me before I reached out to you.
Yeah. Yeah, because I said I loved your content and you were like, "Oh my gosh, I love your content." And I was like, "No way."
We were like rolling up for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're friends. So,
Meow Meow says, "Thanks mods for getting rid of the trolls." Yes, thank you mods. I
so
appreciate.
true.
Elizabeth says, "I recognize that some of those are antipsychotics. I speak from experience. Those side effects suck."
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. Right now, I'm experiencing some pretty significant aphasia and memory loss on top of the possible TD.
I got
So we're working on that because I um It's not like every time I speak, but I do tend to like mix the words, like the word order up in my sentences when I'm talking sometimes. And I have this like thing, this part of aphasia where I'll just straight up forget words that I need to be saying, like words that I've known for a long time, like words that should be second nature to me, and I just forget them. And it's like I know what the words feel like to think about, and I know what the words feel like to say, but I cannot for the life of me recall what that word is. And then I've been having just a lot of like weird memory issues, like things go in one ear out the other. I'm forgetting whole people, like people that are in my Snapchat and my contacts that have like spoken to me like they know me, and I just have to be like, guys, what are we doing? Because I don't know who they are. So like it happened at one point, somebody was like, I miss you, like blah 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 blah. I miss you, I miss what we had. And I was like, who is this? And I felt so bad. I felt so bad because I felt like such a terrible person for being like, who are you? I felt so bad, but I just did not remember who they were. Hey,
Also, hi Tori, my friend. I love her so much. Hello, Zach. My friend seems sweet. She is sweet. Um,
thank you.
I got rice. Do do do.
I gotta color the middle lamella. What color does the middle lamella feel like to you guys?
Um, do,
Middle
do, do. I got rice. Vive le vent, vive le vent, vive le vent, vive le vent.
lamella's given yellow.
I was gonna say yellow.
Maybe because middle yellow.
Pretty sure je t'aime means I love you. Yeah, it does. um, Emma says I can suppress my tics for a few hours, but eventually they all come out, and normally I have really long tic attacks afterwards. Does this happen to anyone else?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty common for when you suppress extensively.
um, Elizabeth says I relate so hard to the memory issues.
Yup.
Je t'aime. Hi, I love you. I love you too, Tori. Oh my gosh. Hey, Kaden, I'm good. How are you? Serial killer says, "What is Right Girls YouTube? Promote yourself again."
Okay, so I just created this, so I have like zero, so I might have like 2 subscribers and 0 videos. But it's at Willery Wisp Official, WILLORIEWISP Official, on YouTube. So, and then you can go check me out at Willery Wisp on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. So in the title of this live stream, it has Willa's handle. Just add official to it after.
Yeah.
um, like I'm gonna say yellow. Oh my gosh, it has to be yellow. A buttery yellow, not bright. Everyone's agreeing with yellow.
Yeah, it's buttery. Well, hold on. Ha, ha, ha. It looks really bright on camera, but it's not.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm still pretty new to your channel, and I've watched some of your shorts, but I'm curious how Je t'aime became one of your tics. If you don't feel comfortable answering, it's fine. Just curious. Actually uploaded it this morning, so if you want to watch that, you can. Myself, but long is Je t'aime. I'm and we speak or like we have to learn French in school because Canada is a bilingual country. So French and English are our official languages. We have to learn French in school. And I just kind of low key picked up on a bunch of French phrases as tics growing up. And Hem is stuck around for years, but kind of made a resurgence through echolalia. If you guys don't know what echolalia is, it's basically the involuntary, meaningless repetition of another person's words, sounds, or phrases. um, so I'm meaninglessly repeating je t'aime. I do love you guys though, but, it's not like I'm not meaning to say it. I got rice. Um, Laya, hello. Um, because they have them.
Sorry about that.
No, no worries.
That's a new one, and it gives me such a cough. Like I literally, I was doing it so much last night, and then I coughed really hard and like wheezed, and then I couldn't stop coughing last night, and then my ears started hurting, and
That
I
sucks.
was like, what are we doing?
Hello, random edit. Hello, Ava, Eva. Hello, Joseph. I know I already said it, but it's so incredibly strange. They're using stuff that causes ticks to treat ticks, like Haldol.
So true.
Um, ask, hello, I have a weird question, but do you have a favorite tick?
um, I think.
I mean,
I do have a favorite tick, but it gets me fake claimed on here if I ever tick it, and I've been actually suppressing it the entire time we've been on here
oh,
because it's a really long tick and it's really weird. And I do have complex ticks, and complex ticks are absolutely a thing. I work with 100 plus kids with Tourette syndrome, and so I've seen the full breadth of the possibility of tics, and complex tics are fairly normal there. Um, but I actually picked it up there, but it's Mr. Gorbachev has TikTok Tourette's and purple hair and pronouns.
okay, talk. The other night, that was my mental tick for like 30 hours straight, and I was tracing it, and I was like, I should tell Willa.
Wait, the one I just said?
Yeah, trying so hard not to repeat it, but I was replacing Mr. Gorbachev with like different names.
That's actually the tick that goes around is that's actually how I met but that's how I was introduced to my new coworkers was I was walking up to them to meet them for the first time. And one of them goes, "Will I have TikTok Tourette's and purple hair and pronouns?" And I was like, it was really funny. Bleep, bum, 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 bum.
Is probably saying I got rice because people like associate it with me, so I think that's kind of funny. Um,
Fair.
Thanks for doing a live. That's been very informative and helpful. Thank you.
What'd you say?
Brozone would like to know when you got diagnosed with Tourette's.
Oh, so So I did not get diagnosed with Tourette's until college. I got diagnosed with a tic disorder at like 19, I think, and then I got diagnosed with Tourette's after that. So I had a lengthy process. Um so that kind of sucked, but here we are. We're here now. And we do what we must. So,
Do. Would you rather have a stranger ask what you're doing or have the stranger stare at you?
ask what I'm doing for sure.
Yeah. um,
Yeah.
what's the orange thing you're playing with? This is my brag. This is my 3D printed fidget toy from my boyfriend, and it's egg bread. That's why I call it the brag, and it's so fun. um,
Egg boy.
um, do. You don't have to be born with Tourette's syndrome. You can get it from being stressed and other stuff. Sorry, I don't know.
No.
No, you don't get Tourette's from being stressed. Um,
No, you can get as far as I'm aware, so I did a lengthy literature search on this yesterday because there was a huge debate in one of the Tourette forums about whether or not anxiety can cause tics and whether or not anxiety tics are a thing. Um What I have come up with is that there is little to no evidence that anxiety can cause tics on its own. What happens is that anxiety can be a comorbid condition of tics, and anxiety can exacerbate existing tics. So, if you have an existing tic disorder, anxiety can make that way worse. And I'm not an expert on this. This is just what I looked up in the Web of Science database. Um, But I found several things that hinted that anxiety can cause twitches, which is why some people's eyes twitch when they're stressed. It can cause muscle spasms and twitches, but those are not the same thing as tics because tics are a misfired signal in the brain that leads to an involuntary action. So,
Je t'aime.
tics affect specific areas of the brain, and have a lot of their origin in the basal ganglia. And then they're affected by the amygdala, which the amygdala encompasses emotions and stress and stuff like that, along with other parts of the brain. And so, what happens is that the amygdala can affect the tics and exacerbate them. But as far as I could find, anxiety couldn't cause tics, which is actually not commonly known because a lot of doctors are under the impression that it can. There's this whole concept that anxiety tics exist, but they're not in the DSM-5. They're not, as far as I can tell, in any of the primary research. Eesh. There was one mention that was pretty ambiguous about it that suggested that it could that like stress in general could lead to the appearance of tics, but it was incredibly vaguely worded. Vaguely enough, and they said there was no conclusive evidence. There was just it could be like it could be inferred possibly. And so it was, yeah, there's like no primary literature as far as I could find on one of the largest scientific databases that I have access to. um so there's this concept that a lot of these like health websites and stuff like that have latched onto of anxiety tics, but it's not that simple. There's a phenomenon called functional tics, which are they present like organic tics, but they have a different origin. But even functional tics don't exist purely because of anxiety. It's an extremely complicated causation and process. Um, and so the idea of anxiety tics is kind of outdated, as is the idea of ADHD and autism directly causing tics because they don't. They can just exist as common comorbidities with a tic disorder. And it's also common for children to have tics transiently and grow out of them. It's very common to have a transient tic disorder, especially between like the ages of like 4 and like 10. That's very common. But as far as I could find, anxiety can't cause tics alone. It can just exacerbate them and exist as a comorbidity alongside.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of what I've been seeing too, but I don't have as much knowledge as you, so thank you for sharing.
You're
Um,
welcome. I have access to science databases because I'm studying science.
thing um, serious question, can someone become free of tics once they have them, or is it permanent for life?
um, did you want to answer that or did you want me to answer that?
I can try. So for Tourette
Okay.
condition, like Tourette's is a lifelong condition you will have. So tics will wax and wane. Sometimes they'll get worse, sometimes they'll get better, but we will always have Tourette's and likely, for the most part, always have some form of tics. It really depends on the person, though. If you don't have Tourette's and you have a different tic disorder, like Willow, some kids have tics from like 4 to 10 and then they go away. That could be the case for different tic disorders, but for Tourette's specifically, it is a lifelong condition.
Mhm.
I got rice. Lily says, "Who am I talking to?" This is my friend Willa. Uh,
Hi, nice to meet you.
I got rice. Dreamy, hello. Um,
Ah, I got fucked by a chicken.
use
Sorry.
knowing the brain function that is cool. Willa is so smart, you guys.
Thank you. I could get so much more into it. I actually saved an article all about the are you racist? Shut up. All about the like specifics behind the physiology of ticks. And maybe I'll do a video breaking that article down one day. Um I think it could be really cool. So
Um, tic attack, do you feel pain or relief after it's over? Um, I usually feel not really. I usually feel too tired to feel anything, low key. I do feel a lot of pain because it's a lot of continual movement for, like, prolonged pe when I have tic attacks, I have a lot of dystonic tics, but also a lot of just, like, rapid, twitchy movements, and a lot of my punching tics. So, after tic attacks, I usually do feel a lot of pain. I guess, later on, I'll feel relief, but usually, like, directly after, it's more just, like, I'm so tired that, like, I can't think.
Mhm.
Um, hello, Dreamy.
Yeah, I feel the same way, like, I do feel a bit of relief when they're over, obviously, personally, because, I was in pain and tired and stuff like that, but yeah, so, honestly, like, yeah, my brain is exhausted afterwards. It's a really taxing thing on the brain in general, because if you can imagine misfired electrical signals shooting through your brain at like 80 80 bajillions like milliseconds a minute so many times is going to tire your brain out and your body out because your body's carrying out these involuntary actions. And so yeah, anytime I'm done with a tick attack, I'm exhausted.
I got
I got brace.
Willa Dreamers.
They're cool.
Fisherman says those punching yourself must hurt a lot. Do you ever get bruised because of it? Yes, and it's
Yeah.
hello Tiger, how are you? Um, hello Aaron. Do you guys episodes trigger each other's to go off?
Yes.
Yeah. Never
Yep, pretty much.
we did it.
Huh?
We caught up on chat.
Nice.
Woohoo! Je t'aime.
Mr. Gorbachev has TikTok, Tourette's, and purple hair and pronouns.
Hello, I'm good. How are you? Oh my gosh,
But.
my friend, what's Willa's persona? A back.
A pica. I'm a pica.
My persona is a wombat.
So we're in similar situations. That's really funny.
When you pick, how do you know if it's a one-time thing or many times? It
Um,
ends like
yeah, I do have some one-off ticks. Like I have plenty of those, like where I'll tick something once and then never tick it again. But when it sticks for a while.
oh yeah,
Um, I'll also have ticks where I'll tick them for like a day and then they'll be gone when like my brain kind of like refreshes the next day.
yeah.
Um, where I'll say them like all day and then yeah, and then my brain will kind of move on, but for the ones that stick, they can stick for years. I've had ticks that have been here for years. One of my, ticks that resurged recently, they can also come back. Hold on. I have a hair, like, in my mouth, so give me a second.
Okay,
Um, okay. But I but I have a tick that, like, went away for, like, years and then resurged, like, literally like 4 days ago, I think, that I had when I was really little. And I didn't remember having it when I was little until I started having it again. And then I was like, "Oh my god, I used to do this when I was little." Um, and so I've started doing it again.
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah. Ha, ha, ha.
someone asked, "What are you drawing?"
A plant cell for my homework for my class tomorrow.
Liv, do you ever wear gloves to lessen the force of punching tick?
I do. Yeah, I have a pair of like off-brand like MMA Street Fighter type gloves from Amazon. I accidentally washed them in hot water. So,
Je t'aime.
yeah, I accidentally washed them in hot water. And they shrank. So now I have to buy new ones. But that's fine.
I
That's cool.
don't. I've never had gloves, but when I had severe head punching tick for a while, I bought a rugby helmet.
Mhm.
That actually kind of helped a little bit. It was like a padded helmet, and, like, that was kinda cool. Um,
Mhm.
like, it still gave me the satisfaction that I needed, but it lessened um, the pain. No, reborn, no worries. How often do you get new ticks?
Like, I mean, if we're talking like one-off ticks, like every day, but also most of my ticks are the product of other ticks morphing and changing.
Mhm,
Um, so like, I had I had a tick like literally like 2 weeks ago that started up where I was going like yee, and then it morphed into yee, and now I do that all the time. And so that's technically a new tick, but it's because it morphed from a different tick. And sometimes they'll like do like a sometimes they'll do like a ship of Theseus type deal where like if they change enough, they're no longer like there's no longer any part of the of original tick. And so that's how some of my ticks become new ticks is that they slowly morph and change into new ones. And then other ones I just like pick up other
yeah,
places.
I've had a lot too. My main one that is, like, for a while, I had a tick where I picked up and I would say "ew," and then it went into "ugh," and now it's that "huh" that I do all the frick that I do all the time, and it was strange morphing progress or process, but now that one has stuck a long time, but for a while, it's crazy how, ticks can morph from other ticks. It's something that I wish I understood more, but I guess for me, it's just kind of like the same feeling, but it's just a different tick.
Mhm.
So we know,
Yeah,
um,
I definitely have ticks that morph, but they have the same feeling, and that's why they become that because my brain has like found a new way to like
yeah,
achieve the same like fulfillment of that tick urge, but with a new tick.
I get it for sure. Dreamy friend, dear friend, official. Um, the evolution of my ticks is why I have so many different ticks. I totally get it.
Mhm.
Happy to
Yeah,
support.
because like a lot of my ticks have straight up just like morphed into different ones, and so everybody's like, "You have so many different ticks." I'm like, "Yeah, but they all like a lot of them stem from earlier ones." It's
Yeah.
like a monophyletic clade. If any of you are science fans. Brr.
Uh,
So I don't shouldn't have 3K subs. I know I had like 1,000 or something on an old YouTube channel. But if
I'll go look. 'Cause I have
yeah, only follow the Willery Wisp official. Because that's the one I'm gonna start using. So if there's multiple, they're most likely if
oh,
it's multiple, they're most likely going to be like imposters.
Willowy Wisp has really what Willow Wisp 271 has 3.227 subscribers.
Yeah, that is not me.
The last posted 11 days ago. Is that like a person that's like faking to be you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's so many of those.
Okay, so that's not you. So don't follow that one.
Don't follow that one. No, there's actually so many of those on Facebook that it's crazy. Like I literally, I have so many Facebook impersonators.
I'm gonna see if I can find your channel and then link it in the chat here.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
I just
Uh-huh. It
um
has me with glasses on as the profile picture. It's the only one I had stored on my computer at short notice.
it says no. Oh, I got rice. Hmm. I can't find it.
You can't find it? I mean, there's no videos on it, so there's every chance in the world that it just has not popped up.
Yeah, I'll keep looking. Um, so the name is just Willow Lewis official.
Yeah. Can you not see the link to it like on where we're both live together?
No, really do that. I don't think that's. And maybe can people? I don't think so.
Interesting.
Because at least when I've done lives with other people in the past, people couldn't see the guest's channel. Is there any
Interesting.
Wisp and official?
Huh?
Is there a space between Wisp and official?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Hmm. 'Cause yeah, the imposter one is coming
Great. But
up.
hold on. Let me go check it. Oh, looks like somebody put it in chat.
Oh,
Somebody found it.
okay, cool. If I can
Bleh.
I'll see if I can copy that and then
Sounds good. It looks like I have 2 subscribers.
yeah,
Let's go.
I just subscribed to you too, and I'm gonna put it and I will pin it so people can find it.
Sick.
Um, pin message. There we go. Thank you, puppy guys. There you go. So it should be pinned. So anyone that wants to go subscribe, please do.
Awesome. I have 3 subscribers. Let's go.
Woohoo!
Bleh.
Yeah,
Boop,
so
boop, boop.
um post her real link we did. I got rice.
I got rice.
I'll follow you. Yay, people are following. We
Nice.
can chat only description. Oh no. Can you? I can put it in the description after too. Your imposter crazy. Shrek says they were the second subscriber.
Nice. Hmm.
I'm hoping you both have lots of subscribers. I just subscribed. Hey Carl, you're not far from 100K. I know, I'm so close that I get a plaque in the mail. I'm so excited.
That's so cool.
I'm so excited. um, do you always know you are doing your tick or do you sometimes not notice it? I got rice. Um,
Go ahead.
this is a complicated question, low key kind of in a way. So sometimes I don't notice it because it's so second nature to me. But when I first started taking, like I literally didn't notice it at all when I was like probably 10 to 12. My mom and dad were like, "What are you doing with your face?" And they had to like film me and show me a video of me like ticking to be like, "This is what your body is doing." But it was nature to me. Je them. I got rice. What the fuck was that? Sorry. That was I'm so distracted. Yeah, so, when I was a kid, I didn't realize it. Sometimes now I don't realize it, like, if I'm not paying attention, I don't notice it, but if, like, I'm bringing attention to it, yeah. Um,
Yeah, for me, I notice almost all of my ticks, but some of like the really small ones, I won't really notice that I'm doing it because I've just gotten so used to it, and I've gotten used to the feeling of the premonitory urge as well. So I notice the premonitory urge less for some of my ticks, like the whistle ticks. And then some of my breathing and like gasping tics, I also notice less. They still have a pretty strong premonitory urge, but I just don't notice that I'm doing them as much because I do it so often. Because I'm doing it almost 24/7. It's like I'll walk around just like just like sniffing and gasping all the time. Um, so I mean, it just really depends on the tick, but any of the, like, the more complex ticks, yeah, I always notice those, but yeah.
Hi, Jonah. Serial asks if you used to have blonde hair.
I did, I used to have blonde hair.
Um,
Yee. It's
look
also nobody recognizes me because I literally gained, like, 40 pounds on my antipsychotic. So, yeah, I stopped getting recognized in public. Um, yeah, no, but it's still me, I'm just not blonde, and, I have a little bit of a rounder face now. But yeah,
if you bring attention to your tics, does it make them worse? Yes.
yes.
Alex asks, "Can you not hold in some of your tics?"
Um, I can shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I can Um, some of the more like sudden ticks that I don't get as much of a premonitory urge of, I can't really hold in. Like a lot of my like screaming ticks, I don't know that I'm gonna do it for the most part. There is the occasional ones where I notice that I'm gonna do it, but like, um,
Got rice in a bag.
there are some ticks where they just come on so suddenly that like I can't really hold them in because I didn't know I was about to do them.
Yeah, for sure. That's the same with me.
Yeesh.
Um,
Yeah.
it's my first ticking is normal or is it a medical condition? It's a medical condition. I got rice. Um,
I got rice.
your niece's ticks get worse when she is tired. That makes sense. Sometimes for me too. Um,
Yeah, sleep deprivation is a big trigger for a lot of people.
hmm. Rosone said, Willa, did you pick up Carly's? I got rice.
I got rice. Yeah, I did.
I have so many genuine curiosities about Tourette's as applied to specific areas of life, but I don't think any of them will be appropriate to ask here. LOL. Thank you. And then Jonah, I laughed so hard I almost fell off my bed. Oh my goodness. Lily asks you specifically if you know the difference between myoclonic jerks in epilepsy and Tourette's tics.
So I don't know that much about epilepsy. What I do know that it is that it's abnormal electrical activity in the brain. It's not the same thing as the misfired signals that cause tics because those misfired signals go to specific areas as far as I'm aware. I don't know again that much about epilepsy, but I do know that it's electrical activity in some areas of the brain that is just kind of like abnormal. But yeah, so I don't know that much about it, but it is also an electrical problem, but tics are specifically misfiring signals that go like directly to certain muscle groups and stuff. Um so yeah, I mean, I'd have to like look it up for sure, but what I do know is that um
I so
a big difference is that epilepsy tends to have the activity show up on an electroencephalogram because it's like there's like so much errant electrical activity, whereas ticks typically don't show up on an electroencephalogram, which is why it's a clinical diagnosis rather than having a specific test.
vive la femme, vive la femme, vive la femme, l'hiver. You know what would be awesome if that girl on TLC came to collab with you. I think she's too famous for me. All right.
That would be cool though. I think it'd be fun. Maybe I'll make like a maybe I'll make a road trip.
Good. Emily says, I unfortunately can't find Willa's actual YouTube. Does the link not work?
I wish the link would work.
What if I edit my I will put it in the description because then people can click it.
Sick.
Uh, it Je t'aime. I will put in all caps. Go subscribe to Willa now ASAP, please.
Thank you. I will say quickly, somebody said my cousin said cannabis fixed his Tourette's. That would be somewhat misleading because Tourette's can't be cured by anything, but it probably improved his tics. Um, but it's not the same as curing it or fixing it because that isn't possible with our current technology and what we understand about the genetic and physiological establishment of Tourette syndrome. So there are many treatments for it, which things like that is one of them for some people, but it's not a cure. So your cousin probably just has his tics pretty well managed by it, but he still has Tourette syndrome if he had Tourette syndrome in the first place, rather than um, tics being caused by some kind of medication or something like that, or like tick-like movements being caused by something else.
Uh, just a heads up, guys. I did put Willa's channel in the description. So if you refresh this live, or if like you go to the description after the live is over, click it and go subscribe.
Yay.
Um, do you take meds? Yes, I take a lot of medications, but specifically for Tourette's, I take Pimazine and Onfacine.
I also take a lot of medications, but specifically for Tourette's, I take Pimazide currently, but I'm weaning off of it starting tonight. And I'm also on propranolol as needed, which is a beta blocker that is sometimes used off-label to improve Tourette's and the co-occurring um,
Oh,
symptoms and conditions that can exacerbate tics. And then I'm on some other medications for some other health and comorbid issues. So. Hey, should
thanks, Fisherman, for saying that about my singing video. Uh,
have.
Glasses can blindness, but it can help manage it and make it a bit better sometimes. Profession. I gotta get a phone charger.
What's my profession? I'm a student right now. I am graduating in May with a Bachelor of Science in Biology. Um, so I'm currently in my senior seminar, and I'm doing it on neurodegenerative disorders. And then I am going to be looking for a job in the biomedical research field. Although my backup plan is something in kind of ecology or conservation or something like that. But my ideal job would be biomedical research, specifically for neuroscience. So that's kind of the overarching goal. But right now, a lot of things are geared towards biology and marine biology degrees for young people. Oh, love him. But a lot of jobs right now in the job market that are being marketed towards my age group for people with biology and marine biology degrees are conservation, ecology, and marine mammal efforts. And then studying a lot of marine ecosystems. So that's probably going to be like a jumping point because I could go into kind of water safety, conservation, limnology, ichthyology, that type of thing before I moved into working in a specific field that I want to because I don't want to do pharmaceuticals. So that's what I'm planning on doing.
I don't know if I can do this.
Ooh,
Oh no. I always have this problem when I'm trying to charge my phone.
yeah. You know what? Can I say something that I think is really a little bit funny and ironic?
Yes.
I think it is just so funny that I have made it clear to people that I have every intention of pursuing a professional career. I have videos of myself taking in class and interacting with professors, and people still think I have the nerve and the gall and the stupidity to fake Tourette's. Like, can we talk about that for a second? If it got out that I was faking Tourette syndrome, um, that'd be crazy. That'd be an employer
Bonkers.
no. That would be a career ender. Um, so in the event that somebody like found out that I was faking Tourette's, that would be like it would just be so stupid to do that in the first place if I'm seeking a professional job in a very highly regarded career path and but like you know what I mean, like it would be really stupid of me at my grown age at almost 23 years old to be faking Tourette's if I'm trying really hard to be well respected and an expert in my field. Like that'd be crazy.
That'd be like
So
that'd be so dumb, like no offense. Like
it would be dumb. That's why I think it's so funny because like I like when people when I go on my lives and I talk in my videos, I am very clearly well educated in the subject, in the topic, in a way that is not possible if I don't have Tourette's. Like
yeah.
I have such intimate knowledge both from the medical side and the experiential side. Like there's no there is no way. Um but I don't know. I think it's really funny. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Um, like
What would
race.
be what would be your expected salary in that field? It depends on what I'm going into because a lot of the really lower level jobs for my career field when you're first starting out are internships. Um, so those internships are either unpaid or anywhere from like 5K a year to like 20K a year. Um, and so yeah, it really just depends because some of them like it goes from $0 and you have to pay them, or you're paid in experience, or yeah, it can. I'm not sure. I'm sure, like, if I went into pharmaceuticals, there'd be a lot more money to be had, but I mean, I wanna go into, research and biomedical research, so I'm gonna be working in labs and stuff, and I'm not gonna get paid very much because I'm gonna rely my work is gonna rely primarily on grants and, research funding, and so, yeah, um unfortunately, it's probably not that lucrative, but it's what I wanna do, so. I'm
Yeah,
going on my
academics is also not a very inclusive workplace. Like, imagine faking something that would be a huge disadvantage in your career. That would be so wild.
yeah.
I got rice. Um, I don't know why anyone would fake a disability. It seems dumb to fake. That's like my thought, but people still do it. I got rice.
Yeah. I don't think anybody with the foresight to, like, think about, their future is gonna do it, though. That's the thing. I don't think anybody, like, who genuinely, thinks ahead, like, a year is gonna consider, faking a disability. Like, you have to be a little dumb to do that, to be honest. Like, you have to be a little stupid.
Yeah,
So, like, selfish, but also stupid.
for sure.
Yeah. And I also
um,
think it's funny that everybody's like, "Oh, like you're faking to get money." Like, how much money do you think I make?
right?
Like first of all, how much money do you think I make? Second of all, any money that I make off of my videos goes directly to tuition, rent, or medical bills. Because I have a
Yeah,
disability. Newsflash, I have a disability, so I have medical bills. So I don't yeah, I don't really get to like use an excess amount of money for random things that I wanna use it for, so,
yeah.
yeah.
That's the
But
same.
but but
Honestly, like being I mean, I'm not as large of a content creator as Willa, but like my channel, like it doesn't pay very much, you guys. If I was faking, like this would be so stupid.
yeah.
Oh
Yes, it
man.
would.
Um, I
Okay,
got rice.
protoplast. I gotta color the protoplast gray.
Harper
Oh,
asks, I'm going on my first date in 2 days and I have ticks. Any advice?
um, good luck to you, Godspeed. No, I think that, dates are hard with Tourette's, to be honest. I'm really not gonna lie. I hate them. But this is about me giving you advice, so I need to not start with that actually. Um, you're hey, fuck, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
I got
You're
rice
gonna do
today.
great. First of all, you're gonna do great. It's a balancing act determining when to reveal your Tourette. It depends on how severe your tics are. It also depends on hey, shut up, how prepared you are to get any type of adverse reaction. Um, because many a first interaction and a first date have been dampered by my tics. Gonna be honest. So I've trialed and errored in how to kind of explain it. And so I've always waited until they kind of notice, like, visibly that I'm ticking, but not bring it up, right? Because they feel awkward bringing it up, right? They feel awkward bringing it up. And so if you notice that they're kind of like staring at you in a weird way or they're like their eyes are flicking to whatever body part is having a tick, then that's the appropriate moment to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have Tourette syndrome." Um and that typically helps me sort of balance not making it the topic of conversation, but also not like leading them to feel like you're hiding something from them on purpose. Um and then be ready to hear any type of response because I've heard any response under the sun. I've literally heard, "Oh, haha, that's so funny that like you're like, haha, that's a joke," and I'm like, "No, it's not a joke." I've heard, "Oh, I have Tourette's too." See, and then they start cursing at me. Um, I've had people who are really kind who ask me like what it's like, but then they take it too far where they're like, that's the only topic of conversation for the rest of the date because they're so interested in it. And then I have people who ask me one or two questions and then they continue on with the date. And I ask them questions about themselves and they ask me questions about me. And it's the best thing ever. Um, so that's what you want to aim for. You want to aim for somebody who will ask you a couple questions about it and not be ashamed to do that, but who will ask you questions about you more primarily. Because if the conversation is being dominated by their interest in your Tourette's, it's sometimes an early sign that they're going to be more interested in your Tourette's than in you. At least that's my personal experience. um, so yeah, I would just shut up, 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 shut up. So yeah, I would shut up. But I would for sure, yeah, know that there's a lot of different reactions that are possible, but the reaction that you want is respectful curiosity and then bleh, and then allowing like him to kind of or her to kind of like get to know you and not your Tourette's primarily. So bleh.
Um, my boyfriend is in chat and he said, "Hey, Carly, you can mention our first date." It was so good because, like, I was, like, hardcore suppressing. I
Fuck,
don't
shut up.
think I had I don't think I had told him because we met on a dating app, and I don't think I had told him that I had Tourette's before we met, and so went on our first date, and I was suppressing pretty heavily, except I cannot for the life of me suppress my eye ticks. No matter how hard I try, I can't suppress them. So I believe in
Mm.
a bar or we were somewhere and he asked me, he's like straight up, he's like, "Are you okay? Like, are your eyes okay? Like, do you have allergies? Like, are your eyes okay?" And I was like, "This is such a freaking perfect segue to tell you I have Tourette's." So I was so scared, but I I immediately told him that I had Tourette's and that it was a tic. And he took it so well. Like, honestly, it was like he asked me some questions about it. He had a general knowledge of je t'aime, of Tourette's before like when I told him. So like it was really good and I was still suppressing low key. I feel like I didn't want to be like super obnoxious with my ticks. I didn't feel like I knew him well enough yet to like show him all of my ticks, but it was so nice to like on the first date be like I have Tourette's and he took it like so well. And I
Mhm.
the rest is history and it's been great. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think for me it's a little bit different though because like my tics aren't super severe. Like I say I have more of a moderate case. Um, but I am pretty much I mean, my Pimazide has really helped me to suppress a lot. So in situations, I got rice. When I have to suppress, I feel like I can to an extent, but I be like first dates are hard no matter what, if you have tics or not.
Yep.
What are the chat saying?
I wanted so badly to be messy at that one person that told us to get back to work and go flip his burgers. I have such a funny comeback to that, but I'm allowing the mods to handle it
Thank you, mods.
how they see fit.
That's so funny. Um,
Just it's locked and loaded in here though. In here,
yeah.
locked. Trust. It's vicious.
um, a moderator keeps blocking me, but I was trying to ask what is your most common tick. That's not rude. I'm not sure why you were being blocked. My most common tick is for I have so many that are common. Eye blinking is like my most common because I do it all the time. Saying huh, saying I got rice. Um, what else? Facial grimacing, all sorts of
Mm.
stuff like that. I got rice.
I have the facial grimacing too.
Yeah.
This is taking actually so long. I'm having to color like literally every little part of it.
Oh my goodness.
It's not it's not like the cleanest thing thing in the world, but it's fine.
Wow. Colton said I dealt with Tourette's much earlier in life because one of his friend had the swearing tics. Yeah, for sure. And I believe yeah, coprolalia. Colton did tell me that. Like when I told him that I had Tourette's, he went into like a story time of like his friend having Tourette's, and I was like, this is so convenient because I don't have to like teach you. You already know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How can I support my girlfriend that has tics? I'm not sure how to best support her.
Ask her. Ask her how she wants to be supported because we're all
Yeah,
gonna have slightly different preferences. Like for me, I always prefer when people laugh at my really weird tics because here's the thing. People don't comprehend this. People are always like, "Oh, she laughs at her tics, she's faking," because nobody who actually has it laughs at their tics. They're always annoyed by them. You're assuming that I'm not also annoyed by them. However, if my tics say something funny, it's funny. Um, and it's actually more embarrassing and more awkward if people around me don't laugh because and this is what I try to explain to people, because if they don't laugh, I don't know how they're feeling about my tics. They could be annoyed, they could be
just them.
angry, um, and they could be uncomfortable. And so if they're laughing, I know that they're not uncomfortable, they're not annoyed, they're not angry, and they're being accommodating. And if I laugh, then everybody else knows that it's okay to laugh. And some of my tics are just funny. I'm allowed to laugh at something that makes me annoyed every day. Um, like that's like if you were like told someone in a wheelchair they're not allowed to make jokes about being in a wheelchair. Like,
Yeah. Um, Mars asks, how would you determine if someone has mild, moderate, or severe Tourette's, and does it change? Je t'aime.
um, yes, it does change. I'm sorry, I don't wanna, like, dominate the conversation.
You can answer it. You answer, and then I'll add in my 2 cents after.
Okay. It does change throughout periods of people's lives. Ticks wax and wane more often than they don't. It's actually sort of one of the, more common hallmarks of Tourette's that a lot of experts will use to diagnose
I'm
it
friendly.
is the presence of waxing and waning within an individual's tics throughout periods of life and throughout, day, hour, week, month, that that type of thing. So it's very common for ticks to wax and wane, but there are people who have more severe cases than others. A severe case typically would include things like having more frequent ticks, having more complex ticks, um, versus someone who has really mild ticks might only have a couple of ticks at a time, might have a lot more simple ticks, and then moderate's kind of like a mixture between the two. Um,
I got rice in a bag.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer. It definitely can vary. Like when I was younger, I would say my tics were more severe but less complex. And now I would
Mhm.
say my tics are more moderate but more complex, if that makes sense. But it definitely does change. Uh,
Yeah.
how do you guys feel when you guys tick and it's a complex tick and someone says something funny back, like to add the comedy level of the tick?
It depends on what they say and it depends on how they know me.
Yeah, I
If
was gonna
it's
say it
just like
depends on who it is.
yeah, if it's just like a quick little one-off thing that somebody just says almost second naturedly, that's funny. I don't mind. If they keep interacting with my ticks, it can trigger my ticks more. And so I don't like that, as well as I don't like when people egg on my ticks in general. Hey, shut up, 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 shut up,
I
shut
got
up, shut
rice
up.
in a bag.
So I don't like when people just like egg on my takes on purpose in general. It also depends on how they know me. So like if I'm um just like with one of my family members and stuff or my friends, like I don't care if they like play along with it and stuff like that to a certain extent. I have had to tell one of my family members, "Hey, I need you to not keep egging it on because it just makes my ticks worse." But like if you're somebody I know really well, if you're one of my friends, I don't mind if you like respond back to my ticks in certain situations. But people who know me well enough will know how to navigate those certain situations. Like if I'm having a lot of ticks that aren't funny, or a lot of like pretty severe tics, they're not going to do that. If I'm having a tic attack, they're not going to do that. But if I'm just having a couple of more complex, like verbal tics, um, they'll sometimes play along and like say something back to it really quickly and
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I can think of an example that happened yesterday, like, with my boyfriend specifically, like, when he does it, I find it kind of funny because, like, he knows me so well, but if it was just a stranger that was, like, interacting in, like, a way again, it depends on what they're saying, but last night, like, Colton and I were watching Balin Out Loud, and my tics get pretty triggered when I'm watching that because of her Balin ticking. And
Mhm.
so Colton was telling me that he had just purchased a new graphics card for his computer, and my tics responded to that by giving him the finger literally in the face, just like shoving my my middle finger in his face. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize like you didn't want me to get it." And like that was funny because like it's a quick little like it's not like you're making a huge deal of it, but it's a quick little response that's just kind of like polite and not like you're drawing so much attention to it. And the
Mhm.
same thing is like as Jonah said, like when Colton thought I was hitting myself because I was angry, and he was like, "You can have some of my soda," but it was a tick. Like those things are funny to me. Like it lightens the mood and makes me feel less terrible about ticking, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I still feel low key embarrassed all the time. It's a struggle every day.
Real,
Um,
me too.
My bestie has tics. I've never got the if you laugh, you're faking. Sometimes the tics are funny. She once swore and flipped off a bottle of a tick repellent in Walmart and we died laughing. Oh, that's funny.
That is funny.
That is funny. It must be hard to be in public with Tourette's, and the worst part is people don't see you for the smart person both of you are. I got rice.
Yeah, it does feel like sometimes that's the first thing people notice and the only thing people notice. When I'm first meeting people, some of my past friends have introduced me as, "Oh, this is Willa, she has Tourette's."
Oh,
And I didn't love that. Because sometimes it feels like that's the only thing people see. And yeah, I am, I like to think I'm a pretty smart person, especially when I'm not on the memory erasing Pimazide. Um, and I do wish that like people saw more of the rest of who I am and my personality, but at the same time, like, it is hard to not be seen as the person with Tourette's because it's such a big part of my personality, and my tics insert themselves into every conversation. Um, mm, and so some of the conversations tend to be about my tics. Um, and so that's hard, but like, yeah, I don't know. I'm still learning how to balance it with like talking about how I'm actually doing and then talking about other things that people want to talk about. And I'm learning to get better at that. But it is kind of hard to, like bitch represent myself as a person with Tourette's, not the person with Tourette's. So
yeah. Yeah, that is what I mean about saying something funny to lighten the mood. Yeah, for sure. A person who has a bachelor's degree is a person who's capable of being a productive member of society, in my opinion.
thanks.
I have a vocal tic where I'm not gonna say I don't wanna trigger, but you do something like a chicken and roommate acknowledges it and both let out. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. One last question. I'm very protective over her and she is very sensitive and anxious. Sometimes someone will mention something about her tics in public. What do I do? She will look at me for help and be quiet.
Um,
It kind of I mean, if she looks to you for help, I would kind of memorize a speech about Tourette's, um, to say if someone is, like, mentioning something or staring at her, like, if you wanna be that protective partner, I would just this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, but, I would probably just be like, "Hey, like, my girlfriend has Tourette syndrome and she can't control what she's doing, and if you have any questions, like, feel free to ask, but, like, please don't stare." I don't know, that's just what I would do. I would have, like, a kind of just the thing you have memorized, so it's kind of second nature and doesn't make you feel put on the spot either. Because, I mean, with tics do come people mentioning things or people staring or people being low-key kinda rude, so if you can be her kind of um person to advocate for her in a kind way, that'd be really great, especially if she looks to you for help, for sure. You rock too. Hello, okay, great. Fisherman has a question for Willa. How hard is university where you are getting your bachelor degree?
Um, so, like, the university itself isn't, like, all hard, but, like, it depends on, the major and what you wanna study and stuff like that, and even what you wanna study within your major, because there are a lot of classes within a major that are electives. Um Me personally, my major's pretty hard. There was the choice to do biology or marine biology, and marine biology is a little bit easier, so that's what I started out with. But then I decided that I wanted a more wide careered field and that I really, really wanted to go into biomedical research, which is less applicable for a marine biology degree. And so I ended up, you know, biting it and taking the harder classes. So I've had to take physics 1 and physics 2. I'm in physics 2 right now. So yeah, I've had to do physics 1 and physics 2, organic chemistry 1 and 2, genetics, animal physiology, all of that type of stuff, all of those, pretty hard classes. I did not have to take biochemistry, which was cool, but I wish I had taken it because low key, apparently it's easier for certain people than organic chemistry. So I could have taken biochemistry instead of Orgo 2. Um, but again, it really just depends. I'm rambling so much tonight. I don't know. It really
No,
just
I know.
depends on like which classes you take because there are a lot of electives that you can take. Hey, shut up. So yeah, I just happen
No,
to
I
be taking some harder electives. Like I'm doing a neurodegenerative disorder seminar. I took human microbiome, which wasn't actually that hard. It was pretty easy. I took endocrinology, which wasn't as easy. Stuff like that. Yeah. And now I'm taking plant physiology, which is this looks deceptively easy. The class is not easy. It's just that this particular homework assignment is easy.
Hi, Sophia. You guys, I'm gonna do my little promo with my backwards subscription sign. If you are new, please subscribe here and also subscribe to Willa. Her channel is
Thanks.
pinned on chat as well as in the description. Also, give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. It helps my channel out so heckin' much. So just do the little thumb button. That'd be helpful. Thanks, guys. And I know this is backwards, but it's still cute. I got rice.
I got
I'm
rice.
becoming a veterinarian right now, so I love hearing about this. I'm debating going to Canada to finish my degree. Interesting.
Mm.
Um, I'm just browsing because I can't sleep to keep up the good work. Thank you. Jonah asks, I'm curious if they do well with accommodating those disabilities, intellectual, neurodivergent wise, while making accommodations to courses.
Yes and no. As of right now, barring some things that might be about to change. As of right now, honestly, could be better, could be worse. I think that
I got rice in a bag.
I think yeah, it could be better, could be worse. The testing environments are trash. I do a separate testing environment and they basically just put me in an empty tiny little closet with a single desk, one clock and a camera. And I stare at a blank wall and I'm just in this too lively testing environment. Um As far as actual accommodations go in terms of, like, during class, I have some pretty good ones. They're really good about providing you what you need if you advocate for yourself. So, like, right now I have a peer note taker in one of my classes because one of my professors doesn't actually use, like, Canvas, the website that we use to do all of our homeworks and stuff. We email him the homework, which I'm still getting used to. Um, but but yeah, so I do have a peer note taker, because I sometimes struggle to pay attention in classes, and since I don't have any of the other stuff, it's hard. And then I also have access as needed to professor notes, which is also really helpful. And I used to feel really guilty for taking those because I felt like, oh well, if I'm smart, I shouldn't need them. And then I remembered like, oh, I'm dedicating half of my brain power or more to suppressing really distracting tics at any given moment. And so like it's kind of fair to me to ask for that and stuff like that. So I'm still learning about how to like advocate for myself for all of that kind of stuff. But um, yeah, I don't know. It really just depends on the accommodations and it depends on the person. I've never had accommodations as a person with like autism per se. Um, But yeah, I mean, I do get also extended time on tests, which is super helpful because if I'm taken away, I need that extra time to be able to perform as well as my peers and stuff like that. So I have had a couple professors not follow my accommodations, and I've had a couple professors not acknowledge that I'm allowed to be in class per se, or just being really like just being really weird about my tics in general. So I've had that issue, but the actual accommodation systems are pretty good. Yeah, pretty good, but only if you have diagnoses. Like if you have health conditions that you're in the process of getting diagnosis for, you can't really get accommodations very easily for those because you don't have a diagnosis and papers for that. Um, which was really hard when I was getting sick a lot and I didn't really have any diagnoses for it because I have some co-occurring medical conditions. And at the time, I didn't have any explanation, and so I couldn't get any related accommodations. Um, which meant that sometimes I lost out on some attendance grades and stuff like that because I just couldn't be in class some days. Um, so those are kind of tough, but I also understand that it's the system is hey, fuck you, Mr. Gorbachev, put in place to make sure that people aren't abusing it. But it's hard to be an undiagnosed person with medical conditions and get access to accommodations. That being said, if you do have a diagnosis, they're pretty good. Uh,
Hi, fisherman. What's the topic about for tonight? The general topic is we have Tourette's and we're addressing topics about that and stuff like that. um, Jonah says I meant more accommodations for algebra, as my mind doesn't work that way, and there's literally like so many other types of math I could supplement it with.
oh, algebra? I don't know. As far as I know, I had to take algebra to go to calculus, which I also that's another hard class I had to take was calculus. In order to get into
Christ.
calculus, I had to take algebra and pre-calculus.
Whew.
So those were tough. I think I had to take pre-calculus. I know I had to take algebra. I think I had to take pre-calc. Yeah, and then I had to take calc. So typically if you have to take the higher level classes after algebra, you have to take algebra. um but I don't know about other accommodations for math. Typically unless you get like specific special permission, um then you have to take what's required for your major. Like I had to take several classes that I didn't want to take that were absolutely required for my major and I couldn't really get out of them. So yeah. Should
Um,
have.
Phoenix Flight asks, "Do you have advice, je t'aime, for supporting?" I have a tooth. Someone with
I've
Tourette's. I have a few friends and family members who experience tics, and I want to know how I can help. I would say, for at least this is just for my opinion again. Ask what they would like. To as for like supporting them, I would. Everyone's different, and sometimes people aren't gonna want the same way of support. Like for me, I like it when people treat me like I'm like everyone else. I'm sure most people are like this, but treat them like they are just normal friends and family. You can ask them, like, if they have any specific, needs that they would require from you as people with Tourette's. Like, for me, I like when people don't, bring up my tics and ask, like, "Hey, like, how are your tics today?" Like, I don't like that because it's a trigger for my tics, but some people might like that, and it really depends on the person. But I would say, like, the best thing you can do is just to show them love and just treat them like they're normal.
For sure.
Hi, Nick. Welcome back. Just be supportive and ask. That's the best way to learn. Definitely, definitely.
Fuck
Um,
you, sir.
like a rice in a bag.
I
Wanna play
got worse in a
chess?
bed.
Wanna play chess? Wanna play chess? Um, what time is it for you guys? It is 11:15 for me.
It is 1:15 a.m.
Oh my gosh, you need to go to bed.
I gotta do this, dude. It's due tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Oh no. Do you wanna is this distracting you too much?
Maybe, but also low key. Can you see text messages right now?
Yeah, I can.
I'm gonna text you real quick about something
Okay.
that's going on.
Okay.
Brr.
Doo-doo. Got rice. Sometimes, but not. Yeah. Do you have Tourette's since birth? Tourette's is we've talked about this previously in the live, but basically there is a genetic component to Tourette's. You have to be kind of predisposed to it at birth, but like you don't um have to like you don't tick when you're like a baby, but you will be predisposed at birth and then eventually develop tics if you're predisposed. Je t'aime.
J'attends.
I get it now. No worries.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. I think we're gonna head off for the night. Just because it's getting late. It's literally like after 1 a.m. for Willa. So, um,
Yeah.
thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been a vibe and a half. um, I hope you guys have a good night. And again, please go subscribe to Willa and me.
Thank
With
you.
my little backwards subscribe button. um, Thank you guys for hanging out. And as always, we are learning together, we're laughing together, and we're taking together. And thank you so much for coming on, Willa. We love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Ending.
Sounds good.